Welcome everyone to
Hey.
Too Real with Mike and Jillian on this lovely rainy day here in New Jersey.
Yes. We're like I feel like moving our studio into our home, like we thought it would make things so much more convenient because we could schedule whenever we wanted, or we could record whenever we
First,
wanted.
pause. Time out.
What?
Why are you talking like that? You're like, you're talking like it's a late night R&B show.
No, I'm just talking.
You were like, I don't know why we put the studio at home because
I'm thinking while I'm talking. Like I'm not I guess I'm not like going like full on like
yeah,
deep.
like Jill, like be Jill, but like.
I wasn't not
But you were
being
like
myself.
being like the sexy, like, hi, welcome
Just
to
because your hormones are through the roof doesn't mean that that's what I was doing.
welcome to the Quiet Storm with Jillian Rosado.
Stupid. We're wasting time.
First up, we're gonna play some SWV. I'm leaving this in the podcast.
Are you?
Yeah.
All right. So as I was saying, stupid. Did I curse in that?
No.
It was so funny. If you didn't realize it, and I'm like, that was real effing stupid. We should not be on microphones. So as I was saying is we don't have it scheduled to record like we did before. So we have this habit of just doing it Tuesday evenings and putting it live on Wednesday mornings. So Mike hates his life because he's editing it Tuesday night to get it up live in time.
Facts. Yeah.
We need to do better.
We do better.
We should just do 2 today.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
So next week we'll be coming to you Tuesday evening, the night before. Actually, we can't. We got to do something.
Later on this week.
We'll be out in PA for a couple days next week, working on some new content that we are creating with some of our friends and colleagues. So yeah, we can't do it next Tuesday night.
You cannot.
It's like the weirdest intro ever. Like where are we going with this?
Where are we going with it?
Lord Jesus. And Delaney is just, she's making her way around.
She's prowling.
There she is.
She's prowling. So
She
today's
is.
episode is sponsored by Yorkies
Yeah.
and Big Dumb Cups.
Stupid. You're so stupid. Come on.
Big Dumb
Come on.
Cups. Hey, so now that we wasted all of our listeners' time, let's jump into the content, baby.
Wait, but there was something I wanted to talk about before that whole tangent. I was looking at our YouTube studio for this, and one of my friends had left a comment on the podcast saying like, "You're a good friend. Stop it." Da-da-da. First time watching on YouTube. So like, watch on YouTube. You can see Delaney trying to like be all on my face right now. But then I noticed 2 people gave that episode a thumbs down.
Seriously?
Yes.
I didn't even notice
The
that.
outgrowing friendships. I guess they don't agree with us.
2 people.
2 people. So much they disagreed so much that they gave it a thumbs down.
Whatever.
I was like, there goes that 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I chuckled.
This is me losing sleep over that.
That's
Care less.
someone was talking about it recently. They were like, they created this whole reel about like nasty stuff that people comment, and I get nasty comments every once in a while. We get them on the church account a lot, and I just kind of laugh, and then you know what I do? I hit delete. Who cares?
Poof.
Who cares? But I did have to chuckle because I was like, wow, you went out of your way to give us 2 thumbs down so we don't have that 100%. And it kind of got to me for a second, but I was like, whatever.
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Hey, can all the people who love us, can you
No,
help us?
Don't ask for thumbs up.
Give
You're
us a
so
thumbs up.
desperate.
I'm
You're
not
so
desperate.
desperate. Watch. Now all these people are going to go bombard that episode and give it thumbs down so it has like 1%.
Whatever.
What are you going to do?
What are you gonna do? That's what we say in New Jersey. What are you gonna do? Tony Soprano style. Today, which is I think is a decent transition there.
Did I set you up well? I don't even
think
remember what we're talking about, to
we
be
are
honest.
talking about feeling inadequate.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
That was perfect.
That was perfect. In the moments where you feel inadequate, and I don't want to I hate it when people are vulnerable on my behalf. So I'm not going to be vulnerable on your behalf.
Okay.
But I just loved. I'm setting you up to tell your story, but I loved watching you this weekend bypass your feeling of inadequacy, summon your courage to bypass that moment, and you stepped up and you did some amazing things. And so I think I don't hear people talking about that. I think even great people, successful people, amazing people, people that you admire, they all struggle with these moments, these pocket of moments that they feel inadequate.
Yeah.
So can you share that recent moment?
So you don't want to share my vulnerability for me, but you did, and you set me up well so that I can share the rest of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Marriage.
Yeah. Give this episode a thumbs down
Yeah,
if you don't like it.
So what he's referencing is I attended this women's conference on Saturday, and a couple of my friends were going and really like nudged me to go. And I, to be completely honest, I had zero desire to go, but I was like, maybe I should check it out. So I went or I registered, and then I got an email like, we need a couple prayer team members for the event, because when they share messages and stuff, and at the end of worship, they'll have people at the front if people need prayer. And I'd never done that before. So I was like, ooh, like I saw the email and kind of cringed, but then something in me was like, show Mike. And in me, I knew if I showed him that I was going to have to do it. So I'm in this.
Not because I forced you to do it.
No. But like, I'm in this way of like just telling on myself lately. Cause like for me, there's things I know that I should do. And if I tell on myself, the people that love me that are around me will nudge me and be like, you should really do that. Cause that makes that like, I just sometimes I need like a good kick in the butt to like go forward, you know? So I showed him and he was like, are you going to do it? I'm like, yeah, I feel like I have to. And then we have a group chat with a couple of our friends, and I'm in this season of not hiding anymore. I'll unpack that a whole nother episode. But I sent the screenshot to them and I was like, so I guess this means I have to do this. And all of them immediately were like, yup, absolutely. Da, 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 da. Like no excuses. So I did it. So we're there, and I missed the morning part because I was teaching financial peace, but the afternoon session, well, it was like evening. It was like they called everyone up. We're going to have a prayer team up front if you need prayer. Da, da, da. And I looked at my friend Jessica, and we're walking up there, and I go, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And she's cracking up. She's like, yes, you do. Just shut up. And for me, like, I pray. I have prayed in front of people that I know.
And for people that you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I've never been in an instance where like you're literally standing at the front. There were like over 600 women there, and they're walking up and you have no idea who they are. Mm-hmm. And they come up and they tell you your name, and you're asking like, what do you need prayer for? And they tell you, and you're like on the spot. Like there's no like... So I looked at Jessica and I was like, what the hell am I doing? She's like, you know what you're doing. You're fine. And the first girl walked up and I thought I was going to throw up, but it was like, we're here, we're doing it. And I just went in and I prayed for probably like 8 different people. And I was completely exhausted the next day because you're hearing like all of these people's struggles and they're crying to you and you're just trying to speak blessing over them. But it was a really cool experience. Something I'm obviously going to have to do more so I grow comfortable in it. But it was like, I had this feeling that I should do it. The fear within me and everything, like, you've never done this before.
Yeah.
You didn't go to Bible college like these girls did, like, da, 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 da. But I'm like, no, like, why not? What do you got to lose? You know what I mean? And just throwing myself into the situation and then on the spot, like, boom, you got to do it. Like it's like you get on the roller coaster. It takes everything to get on the roller coaster, but once you're on it, like it starts going, you're in it. It is what it is. There's no turning back. And that was it. What was I going to do? Be like, sorry, I can't do this and walk away as someone's crying in front of me? Right. I couldn't. So I did it, and here we are. Right. I survived. I lived.
No, you lived. I mean, you did well.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
You there's some people that they took some of the words you said, they went back and they journaled about them.
And thanked me later and stuff like that.
Right. but you felt in that moment, you felt inadequate for whatever list of reasons, and I think a lot of leaders, and even confident people, we have what I would call like manifestations of those moments of feeling inadequate. There are times even in my life where I struggle with imposter syndrome,
You're
right?
preaching to the choir.
In fact, I was just talking with someone else who, one pastor has like 5 different campuses, and like he's asking me for advice, and in that moment I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you giving him advice? You know what I mean? And so those moments of feeling inadequate, or they come out in, I think, comparison or perfectionism, right? When you feel like you have to have it perfect, because if not, you're completely inadequate. And,
Yeah.
and it surfaces up your insecurities and your low self-esteem and all these other things. And I think I just want to normalize it.
Yeah.
It's normal.
Yeah.
If you're podcast junkies like you and I, we could listen to people who are very successful people and people that we admire, and they talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
How they, one of my favorite pastors, Earl McManus, he was just talking about it this morning on a podcast, that like comments on social media and criticism like affect him. And I was like, dude, no, you're like, a best-selling author and great world-renowned speaker, and you're gonna let those little things bother you. A thumbs down on YouTube channel, it's gonna bother you and make you feel inadequate. You know what I mean? Like, but even
don't give this one a thumbs down, because it'll make me feel inadequate.
But don't be thirsty. You're just yelling at me at being thirsty. But even myself, there are times where if I don't get the results that I want,
I know I'm not throwing your vulnerability out for everyone. I'll let you do it.
There are times where like I will speak and give a really good message, but if it doesn't land the way I wanted it to land in my head and meet my expectations, I guess that's perfectionism. I'll walk away internally pretty defeated. And you try to drag me out of it, and I still have that feeling of inadequacy.
Yeah.
But when I'm sober minded, I know that obviously I'm not perfect, but like I'm capable, I'm able to do what's in front of me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of leaders struggle with that. So I think a couple tips I want to process and talk about, and then you let me know.
I got a little something before we get into tips, and I don't know what the tips are, so I could totally blow up your tips right now.
Okay.
But I just started this book. It's called Worthy by Jamie Kern Lima, and she talks a lot about this. And I'm only like the first chapter in. They're long chapters, but it's something that you and I recently spoke about. I had said, a lot of people, and I've been told this, people look at me and they're like, you're really confident.
Right.
And I'm like, yes, I have self-confidence, but my self-worth is low. I deal with a lot of shame issues, not good enough, stuff like that. And she is talking through the difference of self-confidence versus self-worth. And we get self-confidence by the things that we accomplish, the thing where we perform well, stuff like that. But when you take all those things away and the moments that you don't do well, it's actually an issue of self-worth. Because when you have self-worth, you believe that you're good enough regardless of all of those things.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of times people will be like, they don't do well at something. And it's like, well, it's because I'm a perfectionist, and it's because I'm this, and it's because I'm that. And it's like, no, it's because you don't see the worth within yourself. Your self-worth or your self-esteem, if you want to call it, is very low.
Yeah.
And you have to give that great message, or you have to pray for these people perfectly, or you have no value.
Right.
And it's something that's like very eye-opening. For me, it's something that I've really drilled into, I would say, since last fall, when I started to become really aware of it, because I always thought that my issues were anxiety issues. And granted, I have some anxiety issues. But at the root issue of everything I'm dealing with, it's shame and the low value that I have of myself. So people that do have a low self worth a lot of times try to become really successful in the things that they do because they think that they're finally going to be good enough.
Right.
They're finally going to be happy. They're finally going to be fulfilled because I'm super confident in this.
Right.
But in those moments where you don't do well, all of that confidence shatters
Right.
because you don't have that root of self-worth.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think once you understand your self-worth, I'm getting this now that like, I think that before understanding my self-worth, I used to think that people want my performance, but the people that really love you don't want your performance. They just want your presence.
Yes.
And I used to think when I don't perform, that means that I'm not loved
Yeah.
as much.
Yeah.
But if you really understand the way people love you and how it's unconditional and you know that's attached, they see the worth in you.
Yeah.
Not your performance.
Yeah. Well, for example, I had a couple friends after last week's episode like, Jill, why are you saying you're a bad friend? Like, you're a great friend. I wouldn't be friends with you if you were a bad friend. And I'm like, I don't know, because I'm just and they're like, no, stop. And that's a self-worth issue.
Yeah.
You know
but
what I mean?
I took it as though you were saying that sarcastically because we were talking about people who have high expectations.
Yeah.
If you have to be available 24/7,
Yeah.
you're not, if that's their version of a good friend.
Yeah,
you're
I
not
guess
gonna-
so.
you're not
Yeah.
gonna do that.
But
Yeah. You're a great friend.
thanks.
So
I'm not feeling inadequate right now. I don't need you to overcompensate
Okay,
for
good,
me. But
good.
thank you.
because
I love you.
I do want to help you with a couple tips in
Okay.
your feeling of inadequacy, right?
Oh,
No,
so we're not both owning up to feelings of inadequacy. These are just for me.
no, it's just for you.
Next episode we're gonna have a couch here, and I'm just gonna lay Mike on it and be like, "This episode is all about you.
Counseling. Yeah, I love that.
Let's just work it all out."
I'm doing it. One episode I do want to just argue live on camera.
Oh, okay.
That'd be pretty dope.
That would be great because my biggest complaint or arguments is I wish someone was videoing this right now so you could see how you say things. And he's like, I wish so too.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Yeah. And then we'll let the listeners decide
Yes.
who won.
Ding, ding, ding. My
be
arm will be up.
Whatever, if you feel inadequate, if you
Yeah.
need that.
Whatever.
But I think something that you and I both struggle with at times is like to challenge your negative thoughts. In order to prepare yourself for those moments of feeling inadequate, you have to challenge those negative thoughts. Challenge is when you are constantly critical about the people and the things around you.
Yeah.
Challenge what you say and how you say it. Negative thoughts could also be factual. And what I mean by that is like, I know I probably kill this example too much, but I'm short. If I'm constantly like, I'm short, it's still negative talk, right? And then when people like, I think they give themselves the excuse to be negative. Like, well, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I'm just being real. But I think if you learn to challenge your negative thinking, the Bible, there's a verse, and I think it applies even if you don't believe in God. Like, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he.
Yeah.
Right. So I think bottom line, like you can't have a positive life and have a negative mind. You have to pick one over the other.
Yeah. It's funny. When I walk the dog in the morning, it was raining this morning, and I had gotten out and I'm like looking, and my mood's like, ugh, like it's raining. Like it's going to be a crappy day. And something in me was like, woman, change your mood. And I'm like, ugh, but it's raining, and how quickly we can choose our mood and decide. I was like, okay, it's raining, but you know what? That's going to make the grass grow because spring's coming. That's going to sprout flowers. So the rain is actually a good thing. It just all depends on how I choose my mood and my mindset revolving around that. So I got home and I read every morning, and I have this book with these like daily prompts, and I actually got it for you and the boys too. We all read it. And it said, day 48, it's easy to tell how you're doing in life. When you go outside, how beautiful is the flower? That is how you know. And it's very simple. You could be walking out of your front door and the flower sprouts up in the cracks of our brick walkway. And you could look at it and be like, oh, wow, that's a really pretty flower. Or you could look at it and be like, I got to put weed killer down. Da, da, da. It's just the same mindset with the rain. You walk outside and you look at the rain and it's like, oh, it's raining, or, oh, good rain. We need that. Like if we didn't have that, that would be a huge problem. But it's all like, it's interesting how you can tell how you're doing in life based off of your viewpoint of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think in regards to all that, it's like the developing the daily practice of challenging those thoughts when they come up, because when the feeling of inadequacy comes, you're not going to be able to switch it off. So
Yeah.
developing that practice, I think, helps in the moments of feeling inadequate.
And it's funny because I have heard a lot of people say, like you said before, this is just how I am. Da, da, da. Okay, well, someone pisses you off at work. You have enough self-control to not punch them in the face. Well, most of us do. So if you
Sometimes.
have the control, well, if not, you would be in jail. But if you have enough control to choose to not act on that emotion, then you also have the control to choose a different mindset
Right.
over going down that spiral or whatever.
Yeah.
It's hard. It takes a lot of recognition and a lot of intention, but it is possible.
Right. And if you do have a negative thought, brings me to my second tip. I think to cultivate self-compassion, to give yourself a break, give yourself grace when you don't perform well. Like we all conceptually know that we're never going to be perfect, but like we're not kind to ourselves. We like focus so hard on being kind to others, but like I'm not kind to myself.
No, you're not.
I'm not. I'm not kind to myself. I will beat myself up. And it's just weird. It's like we always preach against shaming other people to change, but we shame ourselves to
But
change.
like I change so well out of shame. So it's like,
How's that working for you?
no, I'm at 43 years later and I'm dealing with major issues from it. Not major issues, but I'm just noticing it so much more. And like,
Right.
what would my life look like if I didn't have that issue? But in the example of you, like you have one message where in your head you didn't perform well. And no matter what I say to you, you don't believe me. Because I'm very honest, like on a Sunday drive home after church, Mike will be like, how was it? And we have tried to adopt this feedback system of what could I have done better and what was really good. Like those are the two things. And even if it's like this, like one time it was like, I feel like you could have shared a little bit more personal stories than you did. But other than that, it was great. But in your head, I'm lying to you because you've already pre-decided that it's not good. And with that, you go down this thing of, well, maybe I'm past my prime. Maybe I'm just not cracked up for this. Maybe people are sick of me. Maybe. And I'm like, bro, first of all, it wasn't bad. It was good. And second of all, like even if it was bad, we got to work on those feelings of inadequacy if that's going to send you down that spiral.
Right.
You know?
And
You're still a hugely talented speaker, preacher, leader, all of those things, but that one thing should not flush all that down the toilet.
right. And that's because I don't have self-compassion. I don't like if it was anybody else on this planet, like dude, in baseball, to be a great hitter, you have to hit one out of every 3 at bats.
Yeah.
Right. And so like even if I did give a bad message, like give 52 messages a year.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and they're all different.
Well, not 52. You could take like 3 weeks off.
Sure. But
3
fine.
Sundays out of the year.
49 messages a year.
Which is a problem in itself.
Right.
But
49 messages a year. If even if one of them was bad, like Mike, give me a freaking break,
that's
buddy.
what, 2%?
Yeah, like give me a break. Like
Yeah.
That's still on the good side.
Yeah.
Right. So like practice self-compassion, and I think that helps you from not being, not becoming a victim of those moments of feeling inadequate.
Yeah.
I think another tip is to set realistic goals for yourself. Again, preaching, 10 out of 10 good messages is an unrealistic goal. Like reevaluate the goals that you have on yourself and other people.
Yeah. When I was at that conference on Saturday, I was in a breakout session on executive leadership. And Dr. Jolander was talking about her values. And one of her values is excellence, but she was very clear. Excellence is not perfection.
Right.
And I'm like, absolutely. And that is 10 out of 10, that's considered perfection. Excellence, okay, I'm going to do my absolute, I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to be passionate. I'm going to be all these things about all 10 of those. And you know what? Even if 3, 4, 5 of them are bad, but I still brought excellence to the table,
Right.
that's okay. We say this, it's funny because we say it to our kids, but we don't accept it ourselves. I will say to our boys, you know what? I don't care what your grade is if I see you working hard for it.
Right.
I'm not going to fault you if you've worked hard. But if you don't study and you don't do the work and you do poorly, then we're going to have a problem. That's excellence.
Yeah.
I don't, if that would be me, if I saw that, it would be perfection if I saw them working really hard, extra studying, extra credit, and they still didn't get a perfect score. That would be real. That would be unrealistic.
Right.
That would be unfair to ask of someone, but we do it to ourselves all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. The way we define excellence in our context with our teams is we define it like this: is doing the best that you can with what you have where you are. And in any of that, there's no such thing as perfection.
Yeah.
It's just doing the best that you can with what you have
Yeah.
where you are.
Yeah.
Period. This is what we have. We live in South Jersey. This is our predicament. We still have a standard of excellence. We still have we pursue passionate excellence because we're doing the best that we can with what we have where we are. And that's a realistic goal. But to sit there and compare ourselves with other people and then create unrealistic goals, of course, you're setting yourself up to feel inadequate.
Yeah.
When you have
And
unrealistic goals.
like, it goes without saying, your comparison of yourself with other people, you're setting up these unrealistic goals to measure up to a person who you're not with them all day, every day of their lives.
Yeah.
You don't know what they have at their disposal. You don't know what their own issues are. Like, you're only seeing an outsider's view of those things. So comparison's crazy.
Yeah.
But we all do it.
And they might have a different starting line
Yeah.
than you did.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
like, we didn't come from rich families.
No.
So it'd be foolish for me to compare myself to the silver spoon guy down the street who was,
Well, and think about it in the church context. Like, where Fervent started in 2012 with no money, your joke. No money, no people, no hair. That's how you started Fervent.
yes.
But you'll compare yourself to these churches that have been around for hundreds of years, and that it's a different starting line.
Right.
And it's not healthy. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
So in any context, I'm just using some of ours, for example, like, be realistic, like, take a step back and be able to see the whole picture and the different angles and realize, like, yo,
I'm not going to lie. Even in this conversation, I'm feeling the conviction of there are times where I need to remind myself where our starting line was. And a lot of things. It's our starting line with our marriage, our starting line,
honestly though, like, I think we're doing pretty good in our marriage for a second marriage and not having the history that
Right.
maybe that's for the best. You know,
Right.
some people, they know each other too long, they get too comfortable, and there you are. It's like the meme of Glenn Close with the fro and the glasses, and she's in like this like sweatsuit, and it's like my husband when he looks at me like after all these years.
Right. But I think you could celebrate better if you continue to recognize, hey, like, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be.
Yeah.
Because you have identified where you started from,
Yeah.
Last tip, and I don't think we're here yet. But if I'm looking at some of the people that I love and lead, and when you're habitually running into the feeling of inadequacy to the point where it's like it's making you have like meltdowns, get help.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to, like, even to this day, as much as I think society has done a great job normalizing mental health, there's still to some degree it's taboo. Like, not everyone is openly saying, hey, I need to seek help in this area or get counseling. Specifically where I'm from, like, you'd never tell anyone that you're seeing a therapist or a counselor or anything like that.
Yeah.
We're getting better.
Yeah.
Again, a starting line.
Yeah.
We are getting better, but I think if you're a person that's like, I don't need that, if it's habitual, if it's on a regular basis, if every week you're feeling inadequate, call it.
Yeah, there's levels to it. Like I said, like for me, it's something I'm aware of and I'm actively going after and I'm doing the work on my own. But if it came to a point where I was like, hey, this is beyond me, then yeah, I would absolutely go see. I probably should. But yeah, I don't think therapy's bad for anyone. You know what I mean?
No.
So, but yeah, if you don't know how to tackle it and you don't know how to start doing the work, yeah, definitely.
That can
Definitely.
help. And
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we are.
There we are. What a great ending.
Yeah. The buildup was amazing.
It was.
And it was just
It
like,
was. Give
and
us a thumbs up.
we sealed it all up and we just delivered it like a beautiful little package for you.
I
Are you
like that.
feeling inadequate right now?
No, I'm just laughing at your choreography over there.
This is why you watch. I feel like it's like,
Rave
got the-
dancing.
yeah,
You got the glow sticks.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
that. Remember that?
All right.
Yeah.
Close us up, Boomer.
All right. So Gen X in the house. All right. So thank you for joining us for this week's Too Real with Mike and Jillian Rosado. Shout out Delaney for making this super fun as always. You can check us out on YouTube. Say what up. We're also on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, all of your favorite podcasting platforms. We're also on Instagram at Mike Rosado, at Jillian Rosado, on TikTok at Mike Rosado, at Jillian_Rosado. And give us a thumbs up.
Only if you want to. We're not
Give us a
thirsty.
thumbs up.
Only if you want to.
Leave
Or
us some
thumbs down.
comments. Yeah,
I don't
whatever.
care.
You know what?
Whatever.
Do you? If you didn't like
Whatever.
it, I want to hear that.
No, I don't. I don't.
But yeah, check us out. Leave us a review. You know what to do. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Too real. Bye.
Peace.